Greetings and salutations, Galaxians. This is Jason BitBender Brink, and I am coming to you live from beautiful and honestly quite hot Manila in the Philippines. I've been here for the last few days now, almost a week now, for Philippines Blockchain Week, and it has been an amazing time. And I would like to, give shout outs to some of the people at Philippines Blockchain Week, to Cheska, to the entire team there, and to Tara. And you guys have all done an absolutely amazing job in putting this together. And it was fantastic to connect with a lot of the other speakers and the other leaders in the space that are here talking about things, and to get up on stage and talk about Gala and what we are doing. I apologize if I look a little bit on the exhausted side today. A lot of you guys who were in Gala Gold know that I was up at about 2:33 in the morning, Manila time, chatting with people in Gold, and then was up again at 4:35 on some other meetings. So not really operating on a whole heck of a lot of sleep right now, but that's okay. We got it. We can do it. We can do it. We have as we move into the stream, first thing, do the like, subscribe, and update thing. Super important. And also make sure that you join our board at galagames.chat. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in our Discord on a regular basis, and you will probably want to be there. And if you can, get yourself some Gala Gold too, because that is that membership to the Gala Gold community gets you special access to the Gala Gold channel of our Discord, which is super important in terms of hearing about things sort of a little bit on the early side. Okay, we've got some updates, and I'm gonna have to try to make sure that my screen does not jiggle here, because I've got just so you guys know how this whole thing works. I've got a suitcase on top of a desk with a laptop on top of a suitcase, and if I breathe on it the wrong way, the entire thing jiggles like that. So I apologize. I think if I just talk, it does that. Wow. Okay, I'm going to try to be very, very gentle with my mouse here as I scroll through our show notes. So we've got some ecosystem updates. First ecosystem updates is there is a massive number of changes coming to the platform and website. We've got a short video here. So on the home page, there's going to be shortcuts to launch games directly or to access the game store. There's also going to be changes in the way NFTs are organized into categories. This should make all of this much, much, much easier. On the homepage, there's also going to be some new account settings here that you will be able to access. You'll be able to go through, add in some payment methods, make things a little bit easier for you to connect, make purchases, and manage your account in general. There's also going to be an improved news page and improved store pages, as well as some. Oh, I just generally talk about the awesomeness of the games page in general. And then there we go. There's the improved store page. And you will be able to use a lot of different filters here that should make it a lot easier for you to drill down into getting exactly what you want and improving the search functionality in general. Actually, not improving the search functionality. I don't think we have search functionality as of right now, but you will be able to do so. So that is a little bit of an update on the ecosystem store in general. Credit card payments are being worked on as efficiently as possible. There's no timeline for exactly when that's going to be resolved. But I was on some calls earlier today where that was discussed a little bit, and it sounded like there were some glimmers of hope in that regard. So hopefully that can be resolved quickly. Okay, now we're going to move right into game updates. Champions Arena is live. It is still kicking ass. Hold on, I'm going to do the this thing. Oh no, wrong way. There we go. How's that, Paul? Does that look okay? Okay. It's not as nice as having my little stream deck that I can push the button on and automatically move things around, but it works. So Champions Arena still live, still kicking ass. This is one of the games that I'm extremely excited about because when I show people this game, and I had some very, very big meetings here in the Philippines with some people, and I showed them this game, and they were absolutely floored by the level of quality and just generally speaking how beautiful it is and the fact that it's on mobile. So we had an entire activation here that was based around a treasure hunt using rep with conditional chests. So the second chest wouldn't show up until you had solved the first one. And that is something that's been extremely successful. And one of the things that we were driving users to for that is Champions Arena. So hopefully you will be seeing a bunch of new users in there. People absolutely loved the entire concept and they love the game itself. One of the things that you're going to be seeing here in the very near future is YouTube Shorts for more content and gameplay surrounding Champions Arena. Jaehoon, who is amazing, by the way, guys, you're going to see him a little bit because he did an interview. He did an interview, guys. I'm being told, don't spoil it in my ear. So I'm not going to tell you who he did an interview with. So you're going to have to just wait to find out. Anyway, shout out to Jaehoon and his wonderful wife for putting some of those YouTube shorts together. Okay, now moving into the Voxverse, there is an update for Get Plucked. The app has been accepted by both app stores and it is moving in the final steps towards launch. Vox holders will be rewarded in a big way during launch, and I have no idea what that means. I'm just reading off the bullet points here, so I wish that I could give you more information, but alas, I cannot. It is recommended that people start connecting their Web3 wallets holding chickens to their Gala accounts so they can play immediately. And we're prepping for an AMA on all things Get Plucked with a lot more details, and details will be shared and explained along with some broader Voxverse sneak peeks that you guys have not seen before. So that's going to be breaking news. Legends Reborn, the game is back. Gala is working on bringing back the game. That was fantastic. It was very breaking. Well done. Gala's working on bringing back the full team that was working on Legends Reborn. We have a special interview now with those developers, hosted by our very own Jaehoon. So take it away, Paul.
Hey everybody, so I am the crossover strategist here at Gala, and I'm excited to be here with two people we have missed having on camera. Govin and Chemo, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty excited.
It's a good day.
Good day indeed. Yeah, no, so definitely nice to meet you. So just kind of want to know who you are to the game. I'm going to ask Govin this first question, and then we'll go to you, Chemo.
Sweet. Yeah. So, I mean, roles haven't really changed. When I was, like for 4 months back, I am the design director for Legends Reborn. A little bit of background for people who have, maybe not seen my face before. I've been in the industry for 12 years. I started at 2K working on a shooter. Then I went to Zynga to work on Farmville 2. Then at Kung Fu Factory, I worked on WWE game, a Pacific Rim game, a Walking Dead game, and then an NBA game. And then I was working on Legends Reborn. And now, yeah, I want to take this game to the finish line.
Wow, that's so awesome. I'm a big fan of 2K, by the way. I love playing 2K, so that's really exciting to hear, man. It's great to know your experience. What about you, Chemo?
So I'm the lead designer on Legends Reborn. I've been making games professionally for, since 2004, so almost 20 years. Really, when I started making my own games, I was like in 1995, Warcraft 2 maps and things like that. But my main professional career has been first-person shooters. The big titles that I was on were Medal of Honor and Battlefield franchises. Shipped multiple titles there, and then I moved from Electronic Arts to Kung Fu Factory and got into the more casual mobile space and just been going forward since then. Now we're here at this card game, and it's been a lot of fun to work on.
Wow, that's amazing. No, you guys have both extremely just amazing backgrounds in game development. So definitely appreciate you both. Just hearing that from both of you, I'm a fan of a lot of the games you've mentioned. So definitely, yeah, thank you for kind of coming to this interview and talking to me. But so I was hired after the debacle I kind of heard about with Legends Reborn, and wanted to kind of understand more about what the game is. What type of game is Legends Reborn?
Yeah, I mean, on a really high level, it was a interesting take on a CCG. Like, I was not really a huge CCG player before Legends Reborn, but
Yeah.
this was a really nice introduction to CCGs for me. But so I'm going to take like the layman approach of what Legends Reborn was. It was a pretty interesting interpretation of CCGs. But Kimo is the brains behind Legends Reborn, so I let him explain how the kind of the game works.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. So at a high level, it's a deck building game. The main loop is getting cards, using those cards to craft a deck, testing those decks out against real life opponents, and adapting to and developing new strategies. As you get more and more cards, it opens up more strategic options. How you actually play a match. If you've played any of the popular trading card games that are out there, we're a little bit different. The key differences there is that there's no like global health. Like your hero doesn't have like a health that you're trying to eliminate. You're only trying to kill the creatures. There's a set number of creatures. So when you build a deck, you build a deck using your hero, 5 creatures, and 30 cards. And each of those creatures hold 6 of the 30 cards. So you're really building mini decks with each creature and then building a team out of those creatures, and how the creatures interact with each other and what cards they bring to the table really makes for like a dynamic experience. Yeah. But it's also a little easier to get. I feel like it's a little easier to get into than a traditional game because there's more structure. Like 100%. You pick the creatures you want, then there's a smaller amount of cards to decide from between them. So we're trying to bring in like new experiences and new users that don't play traditional card games.
It's funny you say that, right? Like I said, I hadn't really played a lot of CCGs before Legends Reborn, but once we started working on it and I started comparing it with other similar games, I was always lost when I played the other games on who I was. Like, I didn't know what I should feel like, but with Legends, it felt like a board game because you had all these creature tokens that you would put on. It was very clear who I was. I was a guy at a table playing this game. And then when I get into the systems of Legends Reborn versus other games, because you can play a creature and you get cards from that creature, the luck element is actually less. It's not like 1 out of 30 cards that you know from other deck builders. This is like, oh, there are 5 cards or 6 cards on this one creature, so I should keep playing it because I love that creature's cards. So again, like Kibo gave a very, very systemic approach, and he's the lead designer, so he understands but from somebody coming from the outside, this was an interesting experience to play Legends Reborn. And I'm not just, obviously it is a game we worked on, but honestly, when I was comparing with other titles, it was easier to understand. It felt more, I want to use the word diegetic, it felt more natural to be in that space. So yeah, I'm excited to to get this game back and yeah, see where we go with it.
Man, it sounds super exciting, and I love both of your energies towards the game. I could sense a lot of passion and excitement, and it makes me excited about it. I definitely want to check it out more in detail. And so yeah, that's super awesome. What inspired you to make this game?
I mean, I can talk about like the initial outset. It was we looked at games out in the blockchain because that's what Gala came to us and said, hey, we need a CCG for blockchain. And our thesis right from the beginning was we didn't want to do, hey, this is a game that's like some other game that's Web 2, but with blockchain. That was not our thesis. Our thesis was we have to be unique enough where people are like, I want to play this type of game, and this is the only place to do it. Right? The Web3 was just a layer on top. That was the icing on the cake, but the cake had to be completely unique. And I think that's what we kind of at least we feel we achieved it. There isn't a game like this out there. There isn't a CCG combined with a creature battler that feels like a board game. So the uniqueness is what really made us want to make this game. It's like it was an opportunity
Mm,
for a company to come to say, "Hey, make this unique game," and that was our thesis. Right? It wasn't going to be like, I feel
mm,
like a lot of people will do stuff like, "Hey, this is PUBG with Web3." I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to do that. That
mm,
enough will not get players. You need to have a unique game, and that alone is driving players into the ecosystem. So that's
mm,
what I think excited us, where we got the opportunity to do that.
mm. No, that's yeah, that sounds super interesting. Any thoughts as well, Chemo, on that matter?
I could just kind of echo that a little deeper. For what was exciting for me as like a developer at a developer level was the freedom that was afforded us. Like Govind says, we want to do something totally unique. That's a great experience for a designer. Like a lot of companies don't want something totally unique. Like you're saying, they want something like there's this other popular thing, give us that. And it was part of the excitement is that we're getting to do what we want and making what we feel is a great game that everyone can love.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, those are super important points. And I think at the end of the day, you have to, it's all about making a game that's exciting, right? Not even
yeah,
because people aren't interested in the technology aspect, even though it can help their user journey into it, right? It could help just understanding more about the transparency that can exist, right? And about creative control. Like that's big in what we do as a community and as a Web3 company. But
yep,
ultimately it's about how great the game is. And I really could see that you guys have been focused in on that and making sure that you deliver on a very excellent game at the end of the day, a unique game as well. So all of this is super exciting to hear. I think yeah, I'm just like every time you guys speak about it, I'm like, man, I need to go check the game out. So to all the Gala community, definitely
I got
check.
to add one more thing, Jehan. I feel
Yeah.
like during the process of making the game, this was the first time, at least for me. I don't know about you, Kima. Maybe you had similar experiences on Medal of Honor. Uh, this was the first time we had such close interactions with the community at such an early stage. There were features we removed from the game because the community didn't want it. And again,
Wow.
it's a testament to Gala and really this new space where we are allowed to do that. Usually it's all behind closed doors and it's a small group of people deciding the future of a game. Here, I don't so the feature I'm talking about is the energy feature. We added it and everybody hated it and we're like, all right, we'll remove it. Like you guys want to remove it, and there was no problem from Gala or from us. And we've done this multiple times. There have been a bunch of contentious changes we've made that has split the community, honestly, and that's when it's a little harder. And I know some of the OGs, they know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it was contentious, but it was like almost 50-50, and that's when, yeah, we got to use our experience to see what's best for the game. But that overall as an endeavor was amazing. Like I
Yeah.
can't go back to not making games with community now. It's If I get a chance again, I do it. And yeah, that's why we kind of here, right? So yeah.
I love that. No, and that's why like you can really see that it's all about the ideas that come to the top, and it's always good to never be scared to have a tough discussion at the end of the
Yeah,
day, right? And
100%.
so that's what I love about the Gala community too, is how engaged the community is, how involved they are with the process, and it really helps because at the end of the day, we want to create a game that our community wants, right? So
Exactly.
including them in on the process really gives us more perspectives and oversights. And sometimes, yeah, it could be a long process, but it also teaches us how to be leaders of the community and make
Mhm.
sure that everyone is all on the same page. So I think it's always good to have these tough conversations so that we all get on the same page and we're all aligned in this journey. So that's definitely something that I really enjoyed about the Gala community. So shout out to all of you.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So any roadmap or timeframes you can share?
Yeah, so that gets a little tougher because the team size is a little smaller. We are leaner. In terms, I can't talk about the exact time frames, but I can kind of mention the big beats we want to hit. So the first and foremost is we want to get the game running again. because the company has changed and it is a different atmosphere, we have to get the back end uh, changed. But our first and foremost is I and Kimo need to play the game more often, and we need to get the game running. After that, the second thing would be we want to get a playtest going as soon as possible, so that players have confidence that the game is back, right? Like the game that they
Mm,
remembered is back. The third
mm,
thing would be getting content ready to live operate the game for 1 or 2 months. Like, can we get
mm,
enough content? The fourth, and like I said, the fourth beat would be adding play and earn features. We wanna, like, now Gala has so many games out there. I'm sure they have information that we haven't been privy to for the last 3 4 months on what works and doesn't. So play and earn features and finally launch the game. So those are like the five beats. Get the
yeah.
game running, get a play test, get content ready, get a play and earn feature set, and then launch the game. That's what we're focused on. I can't give you dates because there's so many things still we're working out, but those are at least the beats that we'd like to hit as a team.
Nice. No, that sounds exciting, man. I'm going to be kind of keeping in touch with you about how we can present this content in a fun, engaging way and keep the content
Yep.
consistent as well. And that's something that I've been working on when I kind of got into Gala and how we can optimize our social media strategies. So definitely would love to keep talking to you about that and find out engaging ways we can engage with our base. And I
Right,
think
right.
one idea off the top of my mind too would be fun is to get gameplay of you guys actually playing the game. I mean, you guys are very energetic, you guys are very fun, a lot of passion. So it would be good to even get just video
Hmm,
content about
I
that. But
see.
let's definitely talk about that because even the way you guys explain what the game is about, I think that would be helpful, right?
Right, right.
In
Mhm.
our social media strategies. So that's definitely helpful. So where is info about the game updates posted?
Right. So again, like I mentioned, the team is a little smaller. For now, we will be posting updates in the Gala Games Discord in our sub channel. There is a Legends Reborn channel we create, or a server we created some time back. Because we're a little smaller, we may not be able to support that in the short term. So for now, it's just in Gala Discord. And again, I
Yeah.
think we were moving towards doing like like video dev updates and stuff. I don't think we can support that. We will try and mention some details in the updates channel,
Yeah.
and kind of take it from there. And as the team grows back up, as we get it, as we pick up momentum, we can maybe go back to our channel.
Makes sense. Well, our community loves leaks, so any art leaks, any any leaks
Yeah,
would be definitely loved in the Gala Games Discord. Shout out to the Gala Games Discord.
I think what you mentioned, if just seeing me and Chemo play,
Yeah.
that in itself would be so powerful. You're like, oh
Let's
yeah,
set it
those were
up,
the good
Paul.
old days, right? Right. So,
Yeah. Let's
I
do it. I could set something up with Paul. Paul is our technical producer. Thanks for all the hard work you do, Paul. But yeah, we could definitely set something up. Let's connect after this and see what ideas we can flesh out.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, the last question is, how can the Gala Games community support you and support this
Um,
game?
yeah, I think make sure when we do that first play test, you can get as many people to come back
Yeah,
and check out the game. That would be the biggest help. We always wanted more and more people to play, but there's been a hiatus for some time. So just remind everybody, hey, Legends Reborn is back. They're doing a play test. Come support us.
sure.
And then I would say a little bit of patience for a smaller team. I thought we were really good back in the day where we would post something and have playtests pretty much once a month, I want to say. And
Yeah.
we were doing updates every 2 weeks. The cadence is going to be a little slower. So just have some patience with us. It's just going to take a little bit of time for us to ramp back up.
Yeah. No, and I think part of all of this too is just keeping that content consistent and maybe we can even get the Gala Games community involved, right? Like
Right, right.
playing the game, showcasing their reactions and giving people an incentive to kind of share about this to our community. So, definitely going to be thinking more into that. But really appreciate this interview, man. I've learned a lot of just interesting things about the game, a lot of insightful things about who you guys are too, and so I really appreciate this interview. Make sure everybody who watches this video like, subscribe, and comment, and engage with engage with Legends Reborn. Definitely will be exciting to kind of see how we have further conversations on how we can grow this. So thank you once again to both of you.
Yep. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us. Yeah, this we're pumped, man. We're pumped to get
Yeah.
back into it.
Yep. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you very much, Jehoon. You are awesome. I should let you do more. Oh man, I made the whole thing shake again. I should let you do more interviews. The one thing that I would really like to drive home, by the way, is something that Jaehoon said at the very end of his thing, is to make sure that you engage with the content, because the more you engage with the content, even if it's liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, dropping a heart, doing anything with the content is going to help with the algorithm. Okay, so you want to bring more gamers into the Gala ecosystem. Help by getting the content out there, sharing this, send it to your friends, post it on social media, get people to watch it. That is how the algorithm knows to pick up this type of content and then push it out more broadly to other people. And every new person that comes into the ecosystem is a new Gala gamer, and that is fantastically important for everybody. Okay, on to the next one. We've got some updates for Townstar. We are back to our regularly scheduled AMA schedule this Friday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is going to be like late Friday night for me. I probably am not going to be there for that one because at some point in time, I actually have to go to sleep. Been on the conference circuit nonstop now for about a week, and none of that has involved sleeping. There are going to be some big announcements and updates for the game, including hopefully on a couple issues that people have been really, really, really wanting to talk about. So I'm not going to go into that right now because I have not, unfortunately, because again, tiny laptop on top of suitcase, have not had a chance to connect in and go over everything that's happening in our Slack over the evening. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but there should be some updates that make you guys really happy. For Mirandus, we have some new concept art. Paul, do we have new concept art to show, or are we just telling people that there is new concept art? We have new concept art to show. Yes, awesome. So there's some new concept art from Mirandus, and I'm gonna minimize the show notes so I can actually see this too because oh, that's epic. I love the Mirandus concept art. I love the world that they're building. It is absolutely phenomenally beautiful. Okay, so it's a little bit of new concept art for you guys. The developers are exploring a tall, narrow mountain range and focusing on verticality in the game. This sort of stuff is really, really, really hard to nail down correctly to make it feel right. Everyone has had the experience when you're playing a game of, my favorite example is probably Witcher 3, and when you go to ride your horse up into the mountains, you have these massive mountains like this and your horse just kind of like goes up it, and it's wonderful. Getting verticality right and getting the position of characters of terrain, super difficult. So that's I'm very happy to know that they are moving forward on that. Some updates for spider tanks. The Spider Tanks wallpaper contest is still in full swing. Check out the Spider Tanks Discord. There is going to be a link to that in the show notes. It's discord.gg/Spider Tanks if you feel like typing it in for more information. This involves using the new free cam option available when spectating exhibition maps and has rewards. First place, there will be $200 in components of your choice. Second place, there will be $150 in components of your choice, and third place will be $100 in components of your choice. That should go a good way to helping get some of those tanks upgraded. There's also a new Ironclad feature slash update coming soon. Watch out for the announcement. And this one other quick note about Spider Tanks. We had a little bit of Gala Gold and Spider Tanks community uproar over the last few days over an idea that was about adding chickens, adding a common chicken tank to the game as a promotional feature with Get Plucked. In the end, there's a lot of uproar about this. The Spider Tanks community did not like it very much. And at the end of the day, Benefactor came in and said, no, that's a terrible idea. We're not doing that. The chicken tanks are sacred. They will never be more. And so that is a thing that I think that the entire community can be happy about. I think it was an interesting idea. I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but Benefactor has put that one to bed once and for all. So if you were really upset about that, know that it has been handled in the most Benefactor way possible. Now, with Poker Go Play, we are starting poker nights at Gala. Look out for announcements on when we'll be streaming and join us at the tables. So you'll have an opportunity potentially to hop in, to talk to me, to talk to Benefactor, to talk to the entire team working on all of this stuff, playing poker with the community and competing. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to, and I think will be a lot of fun. So that's look forward to that. We have a new art leak for Tweety for the Walking Dead Empires, and so I'm assuming that it's going to show up on screen. There we go. Oh, that is epic looking. I love how this is also going to be posted in Discord. I love how full the world is getting. It has that that beautiful chaos that you see in The Walking Dead that is just absolutely epic. So I know there have been a lot of people asking questions about that on how that's coming up for launch and things of that nature and looking for a date. I know that there's a date being bandied around, and I know it's a date that a lot of people would be happy with, but I don't know that that is 100% been confirmed, and I'm going to let the Walking Dead team introduce that when it is their time. Now, another thing, and this goes back to what we were doing here in the Philippines last expedition. We had a last expedition event here at Philippines Blockchain Week where we brought in some of the most popular streamers in the Philippines to play last expedition, and it was absolutely epically fun. The community here loved it. It was a very, very, very fun event, and that it was a game in which there was concepts of ownership and digital assets. It was a lot of fun, and generally speaking, it went really, really, really well. And we have after this, we've got Alice on the screen there. Alice is amazing. Of some of the gameplay with so I will let that one run here. Not sure how many pictures he's got. There's me standing there. With my phenomenally lumpy head. Okay, run the video, Paul. There's video, I believe. It says there's video. Maybe there's no video. Okay, I had better video. I'm going to have to get to better video and post it on social media because I did a whole walk around so you can see everyone playing and competing and things like that. It was absolutely a blast. And then another little piece of news that just happened is that I think, like probably right about right now, there is some footage of an interview with me airing on CNN in the Philippines, talking about digital asset ownership, blockchain, and with some really, really beautiful last expedition B-roll running. So if you're in the Philippines, go ahead and check that out, and hopefully we will be able to. Actually, I think maybe it's running tonight. I don't know. I might have messed that up, but CNN Philippines, very, very cool thing. They were, kind enough to accommodate my crazy schedule and all of the stupid flights I have to take. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing that go live. Okay, so that's what we have in terms of game updates. Now, I would like to now air an interview with Satoshi Aoki. We had a chance to talk the other day, and you're going to see a slightly different view of me with all of this stuff behind me. And let's go ahead and run that. And then when we come back, we'll do some AMAs. Hey, Satoshi Aoki, nice to see you here, man. How you doing today?
Very well, thanks, Jason. Appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to having a bit of a chat.
Appreciate you being here. And where are you calling us from today? I'm in Manila right now. I think that I've missed connecting with you a little bit ago. Is that
Oh, I think so. We tried to line something up, but yeah, no big deal at all. I know that you're a busy man. You guys have got a lot of deep ambitions. So totally understand. No dramas at all. So yeah, no, I'm just calling in from just a bit of a rural town in Thailand here
Oh,
at the
nice.
moment, actually. So yeah,
Okay, well
just living
maybe
out
we
here
can
for now.
connect next week. I'll be in Bangkok next week. So
Oh, nice.
maybe we can put some
That's
together. I think I owe you a beer after all of this.
yeah,
And
look,
after having the time wrong and all of that. But
all good.
um, well, well, welcome to Ahead of the Game. You know how this goes. So we'll just kick it off. How did you first hear about, or actually before we do all of that, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, sure. Look, I'll keep it brief. Nobody special. Just got a few different kind of passions for the Web3 space. I suppose I got into cryptocurrency late 2017. Bought a bit of Bitcoin. Rode out some highs. Rode out some lows. I think I came out fairly unscathed. Amongst all of that. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of have had a growing interest in, I guess, the entirety of the space. Then I suppose started a YouTube channel a couple of years after, just talking about a variety of different things. But then, sort of over the last 2 years, I guess my interest peaked when I heard a little bit more, probably a bit over 2 years now, when I heard a bit about blockchain gaming. I've always been just an avid gamer in the Web2 space, quite naturally. It's always been a hobby, even up until now. I'm not really gaming a lot right now, just because you know how it is being a father, and obviously, doing what
I
you
do.
do for Gala Games.
I
You probably,
do. I
probably
absolutely know.
yeah, so it's kind of like hard. But although, I think you probably find some legitimate excuses to play a bit more because it's essentially within the business model.
Sometimes, honestly, most of the gaming I do now is on my phone because
Ah,
it's something that I can do like from the bathtub. Like
fantastic.
I don't get to do any like hardcore gaming anymore. Everyone's been talking about all of the
Yes.
awesome games that have been coming out, but I have not had the ability to enjoy most of them.
It's all right. At some point, I'm sure you'll be able to sit back and just enjoy the fruits of what you've all created. So that's pretty much,
Someday,
yeah.
man.
Someday, I'm sure, maybe.
Well,
But yeah,
how,
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
how did you first hear about Gala?
So, a bit of an interesting story. So, I'm sure you're probably aware of Brave browser.
Of course.
Yeah, so I was using Brave browser going back, yeah, just probably a bit over 2 years now. And I saw the Mirandus advert pop up on
Mm-hmm.
the Brave browser. And I just thought that kind of looks a little bit like old school RuneScape vibes. It was giving me that
Right.
nostalgic vibe. And I was pretty heavily addicted, as I think a lot of men around my age and a bit older and younger probably were, to RuneScape, the first version of RuneScape. So I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. So click on that. And then that sort of led me to your Twitter, I believe. I
Mm,
think, and I thought, what's this, Gala Games? I think at the time you guys probably had around 20,000 followers on Twitter, and not really too many people knew about you at all.
right.
And I just kind of did a little bit of digging, had a bit of a look around, and yeah, it's kind of I like the branding, and it looked interesting. And all of a sudden, a week later, I actually received a really funny phone call. Actually, it was so weird. And I've actually told this story a few times to
Really?
people when I talk about the Gala node. Actually, so I work as an online personal trainer. That's kind of like my main thing that I do now, and I've been doing that for quite a few years. Working in London in the gym for 5 years, but then left and started to travel around a bit. Anyway, an old client of mine, he was into crypto, and he sends me a message the next day. I hadn't heard from him in about, had to have been probably 3 or 4 months, maybe even more.
Mm-mm.
And he goes, so my real name is Earl, but he says, Earl, have you heard of this project called Gala Games? Me and my well, it would be his ex-missus now. We just bought 6 nodes. And at that time, I was actually just having a look into the nodes. I thought, this looks quite interesting. I kind of like the ecosystem. This game looks like it could have some potential to be really, really fun. And if it's even like, half of what old school RuneScape was, then I'm probably going to be happy with that, to be honest, in terms of like that kind of experience, I suppose.
Right.
So So for me, I was just like, you know what, I know what it's like to get involved in this space, and I'll just get involved. And I was really happy I made that decision to actually buy a node. And I suppose from there, that got me into the space a bit more, and I was creating some more content about you guys, and kind of just that all just kind of happened, and I suppose grew organically. But yeah, that's where I first heard about you guys, and then no turning back, basically.
Awesome, man. Well, we're super glad to have you here as part of the community. You've always been a great contributing member, and I'm delighted to be able to chat. And I hope that when I'm in Thailand, we can chill out and hang out a little bit if you're up for it. But
Yeah, of course.
so the next two questions here, okay? There's always like a bad news, good news sort of thing component to this. What would you say that at Gala is something that we need to work on that we don't do particularly well, or is an area for improvement?
Oh, I would say, look, off the top of my head, thinking right now, I don't really have an obvious one. And the reason why I say that is because, and I've mentioned this a few times in a few of my recent videos, is that I really love what you guys are doing, particularly with this show, Ahead of the Game. I see it as a way where, you kind of address community feedback, and also you give, I guess, whether it's investors or players or just community members or people looking to get involved in the project, a real genuine opportunity to see a little bit more about maybe what's going on behind the scenes, maybe some alpha. It's there, quite regularly. And I think that's something that I don't think a lot of projects do, period, in crypto, in the cryptocurrency space, let alone, just your typical business model that's non-crypto as well. So I suppose, I would have probably said a little bit in the past, maybe a little bit more of listening to the community and addressing a bit more feedback. But, I kind of know how business works as well. And I think you guys, you had, I suppose, when I was introduced to you guys at 20K on Twitter, and then you've obviously shot up and expanded so much from there, I feel like, I think people probably underestimate how hard it is to kind of handle that rapid growth. And, I never kind of thought that you guys weren't doing your best to handle it. So I think it's a little bit, people have to be a bit more realistic sometimes about, I suppose, too much criticism. So yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I'm as it stands. So that's kind of what it would have been, I suppose, before kind of Ahead of the Game, and a little bit more of what you've got going on now. But like, I suppose right now, I think your community communication is pretty good, to be honest. So I would say there's nothing really too striking that I could easily bring to the surface, really. But yeah, sorry, I did have a think. But
I mean, that's please feel free to let me know if anything comes to mind. We're always looking for ways to improve. So, Ahead of the Game is, like you said, one of those things to address those community concerns, to provide an avenue where we can talk about updates and push things out and get people informed and online with what we've got going on. Because there's and weirdly is also my way of getting informed of what's going on too, because there's so many people in this company working on so many different things that sometimes I don't know about it until I see it in the Ahead of the Game show notes that I read 15 minutes before I do the live stream. So sometimes I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I really wish I had time to get more information on that. That's really cool. So that's my way of getting information too. What would you say is something that we do well?
Look, I think, I would say probably the most impressive thing that stands out to me is, I suppose, just the ability to really just network with, I guess, the different teams you've got working on all of the different games. I think, and this is another reason why, often people will ask me, why do you cover so much content about Gala Games? Why do you do that? And I just say, well, it's pretty simple. I just don't see, first of all, I love gaming. I will naturally, I'm one of them guys that will just game for hours if I can. And I'll look at the clock and it'll be 24 hours later and I could still be sat at the computer if the game's really, really good. That kind of irresponsibility, that's just me. I mean, not right now, as I said before, but it can happen, right? If the game's good enough. And I feel like
when Fallout New Vegas came out, you couldn't peel me off the couch for
no way,
like a week.
100%. It's just so diverse. There's so much you can do. It's almost like never ending, isn't it? That kind of game. Yeah, Fallout's brilliant. Yeah, love that series for sure. And so I feel really, just to put simply, Gala are really the closest in bringing forth games that are of that caliber for me personally. And I think that there are a lot of gamers that are just like me, that appreciate the same sort of games that I appreciate. And so I suppose just bringing forward those kind of genuine games to the space that are not kind of, I guess, focused on income first and game second, but it's very obvious that you guys are really focused on really just good, solid, fun gaming experience second, and then working into figuring out the economy. I don't know. I suppose it's not your priority. You know what I mean? I think that's important because it's not rocket science, but I think people tend to make it all a little bit more complicated than what it is. But the way I see it is that it's not that complicated. There's a market share, that's there for Web 2 gamers that need to transition into Web 3, in my eyes, for it to be successful. And I don't think there's any other project that is working on that bridge, to be specific, in the right way or even in any way at all. But I think you guys are doing it, and you're not kind of really screaming it from the rooftops either. I think it's just happening organically. For example, Epic Games, I know Epic Games Steam, you've got Superior's available to play on Steam, fully playable Web 2 version, right? As well as a Web 3 version on Gala, and it's quite interesting because I was having a chat to Superior a while back. I did a little interview on my channel that I was very grateful for. And, one of the things that they sort of mentioned is that, it's the idea for them, maybe in the next 2 years, is that a Web 2 player will meet a Web 3 player and just have fun together. And there won't be a conversation of NFTs or returns.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And he explained that concept to me. And I just thought, you know what? I mean, it makes perfect sense, because at the end of the day, if you break it down logically, you are going to get a percentage of Web 3 that meets Web 2. And then out of that, there's going to ultimately be a conversation of, I actually own my actual player. And then the Web 2 player is going to go, okay, that's pretty interesting. And whilst there may only be, you can speculate on what the conversion number might be, but in my eyes, there will be a conversion number of those that go, but actually, I've maybe changed my mind about these. This game's actually really fun, and I might actually invest maybe $100 or whatever it may be to have a play at maybe earning a bit of money on this game in the Web3 version. And I think that's where it starts. It's just, I think, again, like I said before, people make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad actors in the blockchain gaming space, and it gives
so many
the whole bad rap. But it's normal. It's normal though, because it's a new tech, and the bottom line is there are scams, and there are bad actors, and there are bad games, even if they're not scams. So it's not wrong, I think, for Web 2 gamers. NFTs are a scam. Agree. But again, you guys have come under that, no matter how good you become, or no matter how good the games are that you bring out. But at the end of the day, I think it's just slowly building on those foundations to push forward those good games. Like your last expedition, as I said, Superior. I mean, that's just total class. That team is just, I think, arguably the classiest game you've got on the platform. Just so good. The sounds, the animations, the story, gameplay, everything's so good. There's a number of games that are just really, really good. So you asked me, what do I think you do well? It's that, really. I just don't see a valid competitor for you guys right now, which is good, but also it makes it hard because you will be coming under that scrutiny for kind of like paving the way, in a sense.
It's good, but it's lonely out here, I gotta say, man.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to go to these blockchain events, and I had a conversation with the leader of a very, very large telecom company last night, and to have them say like, oh, we're here looking at Web3 games. Web3 games are terrible because their point of comparison are, other games that have like 4 letters in their name that aren't games.
Okay. Yeah.
And for me to be able to say like, oh, check this out, and pulling my phone out of my pocket and showing them Champions Arena and having them say like, oh, this feels like Final Fantasy to me. This is a real game. That's a super, super gratifying experience, but it is very much something that's not many people actually expect from this space at this point in time. So, we've got a lot of work to do to get to that point in time. Okay, and the final question for you is what would you say the thing that you're looking forward to most is?
Oh.
I just ended a sentence with a preposition that was terrible. What is the thing to which you are looking forward to the most?
Sure, no, absolutely. So I think for me, what I'm really looking forward to the most is, I think, being able to share a handful of fantastic games at more or less their full potential, or I guess like, yeah, these games, Last Expedition, for example, at a stage where, perhaps the earning models are up, like 90% of the gameplay is done, and it's just a case of maybe, I don't know how, I guess it's down to the developers, but it's just at that stage where it's like, okay, month 1, month 2, month 3, we're just tweaking a few things, listening to the community, giving a bit of feedback. I guess just having a handful of maybe 2 or 3 games where I can create content about, stream, and just play myself and enjoy. So probably maybe Last Walking Dead Empire, maybe a bit of Town Star, probably off the top of my head. Those would
Awesome, man.
And
Well,
Grid, I think. I'm a big fan, so I think it's huge as well.
I think that there's a lot that's coming down the pipe that I think that you're gonna like. I can't wait for Last Expedition. That's the one that I'm personally looking forward to the most because it is more my play style. So I think that it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to sharing this and doing some esports stuff. One of the reasons that I'm actually going to be in Thailand is to talk to some esports people and some gaming people and whatnot because it's a good market for that sort of thing. But awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today, and I'm gonna go ahead and zip this up so that we can, get on to some questions because I know people are gonna have some questions. But Satoshi Aoki, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the flip side and catch up with you soon, man. Oh, you dropped off. He's gone, or his connection died.
Yeah. No, I think.
Oh, there you are.
Back.
There you are. You're back.
All good.
You froze for a while there.
All good.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
Thanks, Jason.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, man. I
No,
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for your time, and
We'll
good
talk soon,
chat.
man.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
Watching that video, I think it is definitely important for me to get back home as quickly as possible to take care of this beard because it is looking fuzzy as hell. It's not a good look for me. Okay, we have one other game update and then one quick thing to talk about, and then there's going to be time for a couple questions. But this has been a packed segment today, so there has not been as much AMA time. Okay, run the video. This is an Echoes of Empire video, and I have no idea what it is, so I'm just going to live react to it. Okay, so we got some of the ships here. I love the feel of this game so incredibly much. They're just so beautiful. I love the way in their ship design they made some of the ships vertical. There's no reason you can't do that, and it makes a lot of sense in space travel when you're not dealing with gravity and things like that. That was cool. Okay, and the other thing that I want to talk about really quick is, and we'll go ahead and get rid of the over the shoulder there, Paul, and then I'm going to point this back at me all wobbly like. The other thing that I wanted to talk about really quick, I'm going to look down so I don't get the shine on my glasses here, is the common ground, okay, that we are currently in the process of helping push out. Right now for sale on the website, you can purchase ticket packs. Now, when you purchase these ticket packs, you are paying for somebody else to go see this. You are contributing in a tangible fashion to getting this message out there. So that's a thing that you should look into. And I am incredibly excited about this film. I I watched it. I love it. I love the message, and it speaks to me and makes sense in a way that. And I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to say the thing. I'm sorry. sorry. I'm going to say the thing. It speaks to me in a way that most of the other comments about climate change and whatnot do not. And so I highly recommend that people check that out. No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, it is definitely worth watching because if you're the type of person who thinks that climate change is an absolutely massive issue, then it's a film that you will love. If you're the type of person who thinks that climate change is not an issue at all, then watch it. There's a very surprising thing there for you that you will agree with and be delighted by. So it really is a both sides of the aisle thing. Okay, I've got time for a couple questions, so I'm going to hit Gala Gold really quick. Paul, do you have a few minutes? Can we run a few minutes over? Okay. CryptoView says, send stuff to me. I'm in a hotel in Manila. Please do not send things to this hotel in Manila. My own shelves at home are packed with books, and if I'm going to be completely honest, and Paul knows this, Magic the Gathering cards. So they are not empty. I do not need more stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and hit a few questions that people have. Scrolling up through all of the things. My audio is going crunchy, apparently. I'm not doing anything. I have not changed. Maybe it's a bandwidth thing. Okay, good. So it's probably a little bandwidth thing. Sorry about that, guys. There is going to be a Vox draw. Keja asked about the Vox draw for the Earl sweatshirt purchases. That was a thing those are my personal Vox that I'm putting up. And so when I had to kind of leave last minute to go to Singapore for the Web3 Connect event at the end of Token 2049, I was not able to get that done because I just simply did not have time before I left. So I will be doing that as soon as I get back home, and it's not really a thing I can do, while traveling. Let's see here. What do we have? Questions, questions, questions. You guys are talking a lot, but you're not asking a lot of questions. People are asking for some player data. So the interesting thing about player data is I think honestly there's two types of player data, and one type really matters and the other type doesn't as much. For me, the thing that matters most is how many people are using the chain and the Web3 player data. Web2 player data, not as interesting. It's still important, don't get me wrong, but not as interesting. I don't have access to that, but I would love eventually to see some sort of player data dashboard go live for everything. But if it's something that's happening on chain, I think the important thing is for that to be able to be, drawn directly from the Explorer. That I think is what the most important thing will be. And so Cubby had some questions about that in terms of players and then people holding Gala. People can play the game. So, for example, with Champions, within the first couple of days, we had over 100,000 downloads and people playing the game. Most of those people, the vast majority of those people, were not in the Gala ecosystem prior to that. And the vast majority of them are Web2 gamers who are coming in to play a wickedly fun game. So obviously they're not going to be holding Gala. They're not going to necessarily be buying Gala at this point in time until they go through the process of joining the ecosystem in a really tangible fashion. So yeah, we have over 3 million users who are playing and have played things. Not concurrent, obviously, not daily, but a lot of users. But that doesn't necessarily correlate to people holding Gala. And it doesn't necessarily need to at all. So that's, I think, an important thing. Let's see, what do we have? Can we get Nexus in the game sooner than November? That's for Champions Arena. The development timeline for that is entirely up to the One Universe team. So I do not want to say anything and commit them to anything. Let's see. I'm gonna pop over to YouTube really quick. Paul, my audio is getting crunchy because I didn't have it maximized. I'm sorry. That's what that was. Okay. So let's see some YouTube questions that people have. We got. Okay, we got a question from Jose Rafael Severino. taking into account that when you always say about not discussing price speculation, I ask you, what would you tell someone who asks, I have X dollars, why should I buy Gala? I would say that if you wanted to buy Gala, you should buy Gala because it brings you in and makes you a part of this larger ecosystem. Gala is something that eventually, if you want to come build on Gala chain, you're going to need Gala. If you're going to be interacting with any of the major portions of Gala chain, whether it is the Gala chain, hardcore Gala chain side, which is something that that we are slowly beginning to onboard people into, and we had amazing onboarding meetings here in Manila on this. Whether it is that or in the much more instantly permissionless EVM side of things, which there is going to be an EVM side of things, by the way, guys. That was little announcement for you there, little tiny leak, or coming in to build on the EVM side of things. You're going to need Gala. You're going to need that, and there's no way that you can build without that. So if you're interested in building on one of the most performant and robust chains out there, Gala is going to be part of that. Is the Gala Telegram page no longer open? The Gala Telegram page should be open, although I haven't noticed that. Hold on, I'll actually look right now. I'm going to look on my phone at the Gala Telegram page, and I'm going to tell you it should be open, but you know how these things sometimes go. Oh my goodness, maybe it isn't open. Oh, there it is. It's right there. Ping. I just posted a thing. I wonder if we changed the permissions on it or something. I'll check that. But yes, it's still open. I don't know why it would have been locked down, but yeah. Get Plucked is coming soon. Legends Reborn. People talking about Durex or Durax, not Durex. That's a different thing. Sorry, guys. Jay McMoon says vanilla in Manila. That is a very accurate statement. And yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, this is an interesting question. Real Park. Many companies were shut down because of uncontrolling complexity. What do you think about complexity? Does Gala, hold on one second, I can't see it because of the stupid heart is on top of it. Okay, there we go. What do you think about complexity? Does Gala make complexity to launch so many games or tokens? Okay, so that's actually a great question. That's a great question because there are a lot of people that are concerned that Gala does too many things too much. There's a couple components. One, generally speaking, different people who are doing different parts of these things. So we are much larger than the average blockchain project out there, and we have teams working on our games. So for example, the team on Mirandus is much larger than the team on most blockchain projects that I've ever seen, other than some of the really large ones. And that's just on Mirandus, and those people just do Mirandus. They don't do anything else. The same is true for all of the other titles that we have and all of the other projects. It's very compartmentalized. So there is a great deal of complexity across the ecosystem as a whole. But when you're building an ecosystem, you kind of that is, I don't want to say you need the complexity, but the complexity is an obvious outcome for building a bunch of different things in a bunch of different ways. If we were to focus on just making one game, then we would not be what Gala is, and that is, the world-changing structure that we are all creating. So I definitely understand the point about complexity, but there is no way to do many things without a degree of complexity. Okay, let's see. And I have no idea whether or not PokerGo is available in Pakistan. I'm sorry, Mohammed. And I don't have a date for Fortitude, Gala Croatia. I need to go to Croatia one of these days, by the way. So if I'm ever heading that direction, I'll make sure I mention it on the head of the game and maybe get together and hang out. But yeah, I do not have a date on that. So I will try to find a little bit more information and get back to you guys on that. And then I'm going to pounce back over to Gala Gold really quick just to see if there's anything else that showed up. I jump to present. Our Discord is so active, guys. It just goes forever. Goes absolutely forever. Oh, the Zorro Gala, I appreciate your memes, man. I absolutely appreciate your memes. Okay, cool. Your question is a big question, so you know what? We're gonna come back to that one later. Um, will there be a meetup in Bangkok? Possibly. In Manila, no, because I actually have to leave in about 20 minutes to go to the airport. So I met so many people during Philippines Blockchain Week, and that was an absolute blast. But I was not able to get together an actual meetup, so we'll have to try that next time. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to let you guys go so that I can fling all of my stuff into this suitcase right here and get packed and ready to go. So thank you very much. This is BitBender from Gala Games for Ahead of the Game, and I will see you guys next time.